are listening to the Urban Sports Scene. We are also part of Empire Media at empiremedia.com. I'm Wole, and I'm joined by my co-host Ray. What's going on, Ray?
College basketball, my guy. Hey, listen,
Just
I know you can't see my shirt. Got the HBCU shirt on, baby.
Oh, where'd you get that from? When'd you get that?
Bro, you've seen it before, man. I actually
have you. Why you give me one in, bro? Tomorrow I seen it before.
I got you, man.
You know what I'm saying? What's the junk you got from
I didn't get it. I didn't get it at the MEAC tournament. No, I got
not
it
the MEAC, but you get it before the MEAC.
But the girl had a stand there, the business, man. She hooked up with Mark Cuban on that show. So she doing big things, man. Shout out to Tones and Melanin, bro.
Yeah. I need to get something from them too, some more stuff.
But yeah, man, HBCU basketball, all college basketball starting. Howard looking good out the gates, looking like they might be front runners in the MEAC. I know Norfolk look good as well, so it's gonna be fun. The same top two teams looking real good this season out the gates.
But yeah, we can't be remiss, man. Shout out to prayers out to Destiny Howell from Howard basketball, female basketball team. She tore her ACL. Like I still think she's gonna have a bright future. She can bounce back from the ACL, so prayers out to her. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, we said this before on the show, man. She's one of them when it comes to scoring. And if you look at some of the some of the drafts out there in the WNBA, she's on some lists. She's on some mocks.
I'll be at Howard actually tomorrow for their women's game, and of course Destiny won't be playing. But Coach Grace, I feel bad for her. Shout out to her, Coach Ty Grace, because she's dealt with injuries the past couple of seasons, man, major ones, and this is probably the biggest blow that she's probably felt. But she's an excellent coach, and I think that she's confident she can get that group rolling. So yeah, appreciate the shout out to Destiny and the Howard program. Even though we're UMES alum, we still got love for y'all. Even though Wole was mad after that game last season. But I
was mad, but I'm mad that the young lady's hurt. I mean,
no doubt, man. So. Listen, you want to see people like her succeed because she's so talented. But also, as a competitor, I'm sure the other schools want to play against a Destiny Howard. You want to be Howard when they're their best. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I totally agree. So yeah, shout out to her. Prayers out to her. The rehab is going to be real, but I am confident that she's going to bounce back. I am so confident in that. I mentioned Empire Media. Empire Media hosts multiple DMV sports podcast shows, such as the John Keim Report, hosted by ESPN Washington Commanders insider John Keim, and Jones Football, hosted by USA Today insider Mike Jones. And you can subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, and Google Podcasts. Just search the Urban Sports Scene.
And if you're watching us on YouTube, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And wherever you're watching this, go to the Urban Sports Scene YouTube channel and subscribe. Don't forget to hit us up on X at Urban Sports Scene. Hit us up on IG at Urban Sports Scene. And like our Urban Sports Scene Facebook page.
And also join our Urban Sports Scene Facebook group. Search Urban Sports Scene, sports bloggers, sports podcasters, and sports debates.
And then check out the Urban Sports Scene versus Football Garbage Time Challenge. Just go to www.footballgarbagetime.com to see the Urban Sports Scene versus Football Garbage Time Challenge. By the way, we got the Survival League with them, and I did win it. By the way,
did you win it?
Yeah, I did win that league, but I haven't seen a post on X.
Oh, they didn't give you your flowers? They dirty. No, they always call you out when you're losing. They call you out when you're losing.
They hating. If that was him that won, we would have already been receiving DMs and tweets and all this stuff. So I'm gonna call him out because we're gonna get that. We're gonna get that reminder. Hey, send me your picks. Yeah, I want to get some acknowledgement, like Roman Reigns, baby.
Acknowledge me. Acknowledge Ray. Not acknowledge me. Acknowledge Ray. There you go.
Acknowledge me.
Acknowledge Ray.
But check out the picks. Everybody's doing pretty well. Well, you still down bottom, but cool, I like your picks though because you're a betting man. You're a gambling guy.
Yeah, I just don't be caring. That's the problem. I need to care more. But I have people they coming at me, Ray. Just like you're right. When you up, they don't be saying nothing. But when I'm down, they be trying to call me out on these little chats within the Football Garbage Time Urban Sports Scene Challenge chat joint. So it is what it is. I get it. Give me while I'm down. When I'm hot, y'all don't want to see me. Y'all don't want to see me. But anyway, we'll normally say this. Let's get into our tradition, the pregame. Here's what we have on tap. We'll talk about the Commanders defeating the New England Patriots and their upcoming game against the Seattle Seahawks. Chris Powell, host of Couch Coach Live, will join us for some Commanders talk. We'll talk about the Wizards' performance in the NBA in-season tournament, and also we'll talk about Jordan Poole's play finally at 8:45. We'll talk about James Harden being traded to the LA Clippers, and we'll discuss if they're really threats to go to the NBA Finals. But first, as I mentioned before, let me introduce our guest. I want to play a clip with a minute. All right, so our guest is host of Couch Coach Live. I want to introduce my man Chris Powell to the set, man. What is going on, Chris, man?
What's going on, fellas? How y'all doing?
We good, man. Glad to have you on, my man.
Glad to be here, man. Absolutely.
That's what's up, man. Before we get started, man, we know we've had you on before, but we had you on our audio version of the show. But can you let our viewers know about Couch Coach Live?
Yeah, man. So Couch Coach Live is a show that you can check out. And actually, we normally do it on Wednesdays at 8:00. So
I thought so. That's why I made sure. I thought so.
But we here, yeah. So we do that. So pretty much, we just talk about everything in the world of sports going on that week, and good show. We just just lighthearted. We ain't gonna hit you with the analysis, like talk about it. We gonna it's just an enjoyable time. You'll be entertained, a little bit of laughter, and also my co-host Malway is well on there. So definitely check us out. Website couchcoachlive.com. We're on Twitter, aka X. All that's pretty much social media, Couch Coach Live. So yeah, absolutely.
Man, we're glad to have you
bro.
on, man.
Appreciate you because you joined All Burgundy and Go Everything. Actually, well, that's what he came on. If you remember that.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. That's true. That's
season debut, 2021. We played the Chargers.
Sir.
Yes.
Oh, my man.
It's good to have you back. It's been a minute.
Yeah.
While you're back, bro, it's a couple people that ain't back, and that's Chase Young and Montez Sweat. They are gone. both traded. Montez Sweat with the Bears now got a nice deal, and Chase Young is with the 49ers. After the trade, the Commanders were able to bounce back. Of course, defeat New England, man. What was your thoughts on that performance, bro?
I mean, you just look at it. I know a lot of people will look at this as far as what's New England, but it's a professional football team. These are teams. I mean, these grown folks, these men, these men playing football. They got wives and children. They got mouths to feed.
I love it.
So, hey, it is. But I loved it. I loved the resilience of this team fighting back, because there was a lot of moments, and as far as and I know Wale, we go back and forth social media, or sometimes they like it's something about this team that just make you want to say bad stuff, but then they do something that make you be like, okay, false alarm. But I think a great win. Obviously you look like the player Sam Howell, and I was very impressed by what he did. Because normally they always say when Bill Belichick go against his, if you play Bill Belichick the first time, he's gonna school you. But Sam Howell, he I mean, I know we close to Thanksgiving, but he carved up Bill Belichick in that defense. So so it's kind of one of those where it kind of gives you some hope. I mean, obviously, like you said, the trades. Losing two guys, and that's one thing with it. We understand it's a business of it, but these are two good young men. Obviously, how you cover the Commanders as well, and you get to know these guys. Obviously, you look at like Chase, homegrown talent from the DMV. Him battling injuries, and we know how it was tough for him to essentially kind of get off the staying on the field with his injury concerns. So you always wanted him to kind of bounce back. And then you look at what Montez, even though he was a first round pick, you seen, his growth. And then, obviously the tragedy that happened in his life a few years ago, and him kind of bouncing back, because, what happened, a few years back to him, it could demoralize even the most to anybody. So for him to kind of come back, and those are the kind of stories where you look at and it's like, you happy for him, doing that thing. And, I know it wasn't, I knew the unit wasn't going to be there the whole entire time, as far as what we got. I knew there was going to be a quote unquote casualty. As far as somebody not being here, I didn't think both of them was going to get traded, but I mean, it is what it is. But we get that Friday pick, so I think I think we get that Friday pick, say the second round Bears pick, which is going to pretty much be that one of the first round pick. So we'll get some great value if whoever's going to be here,
hey, you already know,
right? And whoever can get that talent, maybe that'd be worth its while.
You're listening to the Urban Sports Scene. We're joined by Chris Powell, Cowboys Coach Live, and bro, you mentioned Sam Howell already. threw for 325 yards against the Patriots and a touchdown. He's getting a lot of love on the national media scene. Yeah. Second in the league in passing. Patrick Mahomes is not playing as well without EB as his OC, and now it looks as though Sam Howell could get not just himself the bag, but he could also get EB the bag as well in the future. What's your thoughts about Sam Howell and his play, man? Assess it for us, bro.
I told y'all. I'm telling you. I've
been my man confident. I told y'all.
And I told y'all. And it's funny because it's like I'm telling you. I remember when we drafted him last year. In my apartment, I guarantee, I bet my neighbors heard me scream because I'm a University of North Carolina football fan. So it's like I've followed him since he's been in high school. Okay. So I followed him since he's about 16, 17 years old. And when people was asking me about Sam Howell this year, like I said he's cerebral. He's a guy that's gonna never quit because we seen instances. I know there was a game against Florida State that we played a few years back. We were getting our tails kicked in, but Sam Howell, he didn't have no emotion. And to me, I was like, that sticks out because, you get your tail kicked. You're at a point. I know, be human. I like, look, it's time to worry about dinner. But he's so focused essentially on the game. And he stayed focused. And he took the beat and he took a lot of hits in that game. I remember one time he threw a pick six, but he came back and he battled up. Dude is tough. He don't have no emotion. That's good for this type of team in this franchise. And he's what I thought he was going to be. I knew there was going to be some growing pains. Like I think like that Patriots one, because I even thought about it like early in the year. There's going to be points where once Sam gets acclimated, he's going to get greedy. And that play against New England was indicative of kind of somewhat the greediness that he have. So yeah, I expected Sam Howell to be this way. I mean, he did this 3 years at UNC.
So you like, I told you so? I told you so type of person?
Nope. I mean, not really, but it's just one of those where it's like, because I think a lot of people had doubt in him. And I think that's where, because people can say so, but it's like, people say, well, how do you know this about Sam Howell? Because people question me and counted. And I'm like, well, I've seen him play since he was in high school. So it's like, there's nothing new. Like, even though it's a new level, but that's just his personality. That's how he's been since I think I followed him maybe 2018, 19, right around that time period. He's been that way.
No, he is. I think what I love about Sam Howell. I do want to ask. So, before I get into my thoughts on Sam Howell, so he's always been this cool, calm, and collect, even from the good or bad. Because it's just, to me, what I like about him, and I know many people have said it, so I don't want to be super redundant, but when he throws a pick, yeah, he's pissed, but it's like the same. It's the same energy you get as if he scored. He threw a touchdown. Like, it's not like he gets too high or too low in the situation. So he's always been like that from you following since high school to Carolina. He's always been that way.
Yeah, and for the most part, that's one thing I liked about it because, like I was telling people, it's a stark difference than what we had almost a year ago, where we had a quarterback that just signed with the LA Rams that would have a temper tantrum and have the mental outburst. And I think when Trayvon Diggs picked him off, I think he almost damn near broke a tablet. So it's like to a point where you're not gonna have that. You're not gonna have like Sam Howell throwing a tablet. Like I said, if he throws a tablet, we all in trouble because we all, it may be the end of the world if you see Sam Howell break a tablet.
That's crazy. Again, that's what I like about Sam Howell. It's like his temperament. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, to me, it shows you a lot where he had that quote unquote bonehead play where he threw the interception in the back of the end zone when they had an opportunity to score points in the red zone, touchdown or field goal before the half. And to come back for most young quarterbacks, when you have a play like that, that can follow you in the second half. And it didn't. Like, he erased it. Like, it was like, okay, we back to business. Like, we're still in the game. Yes, I messed up, but I'm still good enough. I still have faith in this team, faith in EB, faith in the receivers to go in there and make plays and take this lead and win this football game. And we've seen it. We've seen in the past with other quarterbacks. I said this on our All Burgundy and Gold postgame show. Like, we've seen other quarterbacks who are now one of the top quarterbacks in the league here. Even Kirk Cousins, he would throw a pick, and then that would get another pick, and you could see him stressing off that one pick. We've seen that with multiple quarterbacks here, and Carson Wentz, you just named. Taylor Heineke, you name. Like those individuals do a lot of picks. But for this kid, he doesn't just when he throws a pick, he learns from that mistake and he doesn't let it follow him. But also he plays at a higher level with it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know what? I've made this mistake, but I'm that guy. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna make a play. I'm gonna make a play for my team. My man Dejanu said that trait is good to have. You see it when he makes mistakes. He just comes back out and acts like nothing happened at all. Like, go ahead.
And he's starting to win the roster over. Y'all heard John Allen basically saying this dude is a franchise quarterback, and Washington needs a franchise quarterback so bad.
Yeah, they're calling him
that guy.
Yeah, definitely calling him. So it's pretty cool, right? I see what I did there, right, Ray? See what I did there. Yeah, you see what I did there. All right, so Ray mentioned Chase Young earlier. He had a lot. He was at Niners camp, Niners press conference like last week. He had a lot to say about this Washington Commanders organization. We're gonna play that clip right now. It's gonna be about a 3-minute clip. We're gonna play that right now.
You get a heads up that the trade could occur, and what was your reaction when it finally went down?
Nah, honestly, I got everything on social media, just like you guys. Because I'm just playing my game and it happened.
First thought when you found out it was San Francisco?
I wasn't mad. It's like Nick is here. Always been a big brother to me. Even at Ohio State. I'm just stepping in here for today. Got in here last week. Just the culture, the vibe is a lot different. I definitely know that I'm in the build with winners.
What's been your early impression of Chris Kasirk and Darryl Tapp working with that D-line group?
I love it. Getting coached hard every day. The intensity, he has that. That's what everybody keeps telling me about. He's so intense, and I love it. I love to be coached hard. That's just gonna make me go harder.
Talk about a change in the culture from where you were before. How can you tell that so soon?
Just the players, the spirit in the locker room, the spirit of the coaches. It's just different. You know what I'm saying? It's like a kind of that same thing at Ohio State, where it's like you're expected to win, and it's just like that vibe of we're going to win. You know what I'm saying? So it definitely reminds me not Ohio State, but obviously it's NFL. These are grown men, so I'm just excited to be blessed to with the opportunity to be this franchise.
The 49ers from afar, obviously they've been deep in the playoffs. I'm sure you probably have watched them. You've seen them a little bit on film because you don't play them a lot. But the expectations you had before getting here and now being amongst the guys, I know you haven't played a game, but has anything changed or affirmed what you thought before about the Niners?
Culture. I see why they win. Just the details of each play, the details of my assignment, much more greater. So I see why they win.
Why you would say you weren't mad about being traded here, but there's another part of you as a competitor, like you're going to trade me?
Nah, every God has a plan. I wouldn't even say I know who I am. I'm a competitor. So I'm gonna compete. I don't know what they're doing over there. That's over my head. I'm just gonna be Chase Young, and I'm gonna compete to the best I can.
Man, Chase had a lot. Oh, Chase had a lot to say, and you heard he said psych, nah. Like he a PG dude, like psych, nah. Chase is definitely from PG County. You can't even hide that one, bro. Oh, so I'm gonna start with you. Chris. Your thoughts about his comments and some of the things that stood out to you.
I mean, at the end of the day, is he lying? He's not. And it honestly, I mean, it does kind of.
People don't want to hear that, but people don't want to hear it. But I'm with you. Go ahead.
It does suck that he found out on social media that he got traded. That's the only part I have an issue with. But I mean, he's right. I mean, and he goes to a team like he said. San Francisco has been successful. They made deep runs in the playoffs. In this Kyle Shanahan era.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and like he said, the winning culture now, especially now he coming to a team where he understand why this team is good, because now you're looking at, especially pissed off after losing 3 straight football games, where as far as we know, the tenor and the mood when we lose, it's not as profound like in other locker rooms. But what he said is no lie. And then this is going to show you when we wake up on January 8th and everybody's gone. So it is what it is. I mean, it's
I have a question for you, bro, and Wole, of course, you can answer as well.
Yeah.
When he talked about culture, and I like, of course, that he referenced Ohio State. He referenced winning programs.
Yeah.
And that's cool and all. But I think about, and we're old enough to remember, when Warren Sapp and Simeon Rice and that group, Derrick Brooks, John Lynch, they changed the culture of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if Chase could have been more of a leader in that regard, showing up for all-season workouts and doing more to try to make Washington a winning culture versus doing what's easy in my opinion and bashing a franchise that everybody kind of beats up on. But I think he could have did a little bit more. I'm a Chase guy all day long. I'm not trying to criticize. What I'm saying is I get the shots. I understand it. But at the same time, bro, I feel, and you got to make your money. Go get your money, bro. I'm not mad at you about that. But I feel as though just looking at B-More, looking at Tampa, those situations, these players, they helped to turn around the culture even more than the coaches did in my eyes.
I think it's a little different in this aspect. I mean, when you had Tony Dungy that helped that process, I know Warren Sapp initially wasn't happy in Tampa because he was sick of losing himself. Then you got Tony, it was different. So, and then you added in the element for Chase, he playing at home. So there is, like, to your point, Ray, that immaturity in that home element, right? But I do think there's a little bit different, like how you said, like everybody changing the culture, because truth be told, we mentioned the great young players and they stayed there and they did good work with Derrick Brooks, Warren Sapp. Really it was Derrick Brooks, Warren Sapp, and John Lynch. Those are like the 3 individuals that started that whole program, changing that whole program. And Rondé Barber too. They changed, and they got Simeon later, right? But those 3 really changed, and Rondé changed the whole program. But truth be told, it really changed when they brought Tony in the building. Like Tony Dungy, that's when it really, really changed, right? Because you brought in a leader to kind of lead those young men. You know what I'm saying? Because at first they were like, all that talent was dwindling away. It wasn't doing what we see now. But once they got Tony, it was different. You can make, again, to your point, I think as a player, you have to have onus. You have to have onus of it. And Chase has to have onus of it. To your point, Ray, like, you could do a little bit more. Like, you're the number 2 pick and the number 2 pick overall. And the team has pretty much showcased you as the face of the franchise, being a local kid, right? So, yes, to your point, Chase could have did a little bit more. But I do think that still the organization does play a part in that too, like the coaching staff, Ron, like producing a winning culture. Because Chase going to Ohio State, that was a winning culture. So he's spoiled, right? Just like the Bama kids, for a certain extent, are kind of spoiled. But they're different, though. They're different makeup. Ohio State. Then you come to Washington. Your rookie year, you have some success. Your rookie of the year, you go to the postseason. So for you, it's totally like, okay, I've had some success in the NFL. Then now you have adversity. You ain't not playing too well in your second year. Then you get it. Then you're knocked out with an injury for the whole year. An injury that some folks said you weren't going to come back from to be a decent player again. Now you're coming back, and then the culture, in terms of the team culture, it's still the same old. Like Ron is still dealing with some of the same things. Now you're looking at other coaches, like we mentioned San Francisco or whatever. Like, look how Kyle has changed that organization and changed the culture like that. You know what I'm saying? Now you're going into, for Chase, you're going to a culture just like you were in Ohio State. Similar, like, it's already a well-oiled machine. This is a championship contender team. This is not even a playoff team. This is a championship contender team. This is something they're used to. You started off, you know what I'm saying? So now it's like it works out for him. So I think, yes, Chase could have took some responsibility, but I do think there is, to his point, and what he said in the presser, there is a different energy. Like, I know that people don't want to hear it because they're homers, but it's a different energy. You're going from a team that expects to win the Super Bowl. You're going from a team who is just trying to get to the postseason, to a team who expects to win the Super Bowl. That's something he's used to. He went to Ohio State expecting to win a national championship. You know what I'm saying? And that his career was expected to win a national championship. If it wasn't a national championship, it wasn't that then they didn't achieve their goal, regardless if it was a quote unquote a successful season for the outsiders. If they didn't win a national championship, that was a failure for them. Washington, it's a different thing. San Fran, they're expected to win championships.
Go ahead, Chris.
Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah. So I think the thing is, and it's weird because I thought, in my personal opinion, he was a catalyst of our culture in our 2020 run.
Yeah, he was.
I mean, yeah, and I remember he got hurt. I think when we went to Cleveland, and I remember he had the groin injury. And I like, and I just seen him like pepping up guys, and even God rest his soul, like the late Dwayne Haskins after he threw a few interceptions, kind of get them straight and get them all situated, and then when making plays. So I was like, I love that because I always like seeing when guys can't be on the field. What are they doing? That's out there. So he was really engaged and all that. And then even when it switched to telling Heineke, he's doing his thing. And then I remember when when the playoff game against Tampa, he's the one that's like putting a Heineke like looking reading his jersey. After we after we thought that we had that the touchdown run against when he ran it in against Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
And I thought like he was the one, and like you said, and that's where pair him up with the Alabama boys with with Deron and John.
Yeah.
2 years ago, I was like, hey, I'm not to quote the Bruce Allen, but the coach is damn good over here. That was the thought, but but it's now has just went kind of downhill. Like you said, since that ACL injury, it has changed. When we got it late in 2021. So yeah.
Real quick, I just want to say I agree with you, Wole, in the sense that you do have guys who were successful in college. He just mentioned the Bama Wall, guys who were used to winning.
Yeah.
Ohio State, Alabama, Mississippi State. You got these guys coming from these conferences that are known for winning football in college. And then you come to an organization with two defensive-minded coaches, and for some reason you cannot turn around the culture. That's extremely frustrating. But I still think these players maybe could have stepped it up a bit. Although I like what you said. Sean Taylor was so dominant when he was here, and he had Gibbs now mind you. But he was so dominant that he helped to change the culture just by his play on the field. He didn't have to say a whole lot. So I think players do have some responsibility, but I totally agree with you guys. No doubt.
Yeah, I just feel like it's a mixture of both. Like players can't change the culture if you don't have the coaches to change the culture. You know what I mean? Like you can name we can name a bunch of great players, but what's the common denominator with it? Like, for instance, man, I think Aaron Donald is a player who changes culture, but who really helped change that Rams culture though? Sean McVay. You know what I'm saying? Like, but Aaron Donald's been there before Sean McVay. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are players. Yeah, he had Jeff Fisher. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just being culture. Like, I feel like players can set the culture as leaders. Like, for instance, I think Jonathan Allen's a guy, like to your point, Ray, is a guy who has that aura about him, right? But has he changed the culture in terms of what it is? Has the culture truly changed? Because again, the coach hasn't matched up with the player. You know what I'm saying? So I would have put with Jay Jones said I would have kept Sweat, to be honest, but she not for 100 mil. Yeah, man. That's I like Montez, man. I'm glad he's gonna get his money. I'm gonna tell you that, like,
well, hey Jay, appreciate you. To your point, that is a shift in culture because when Snyder was really in his bag, he was throwing.
He's gonna get that money. He's gonna get that money, right?
So there has been a culture shift in that regard. I would agree with Jay on that one.
Yeah, I will. I totally agree with that. Totally agree. So, not having Chase, not having Montez. He mentioned Montez. In terms of last Sunday, did you see a drop off in play with that defensive line without those two stud defensive ends?
Yeah, I mean, you look at it. Yeah,
Folks out there on social media, they hate to hear that.
But it's obvious. I mean, you got a guy like a Mac Jones that essentially is a statue.
Yeah.
So it's like you got 0 sacks. I think 1 QB hit. So it's like, I mean, it's simple. I mean, especially it did happen. That's one thing where. You're gonna lose guys, like you said. We get rid of a guy that was worth $100 million on the free market.
Yeah,
you're gonna lose that production, and I mean that's and it's gonna happen. I think that was expected. I think we were gonna have 2.5 or 3 sacks, nothing. No, I mean it's and I like Casey Hill and James Smith-Williams, but let's be real. We lost Chase and Montez. We lost, so it's gonna happen. It's like you said, it's okay.
No, I agree.
Right. Yeah, like you said to the fans,
Yeah. No, I agree. No, it's wild because I had some people on social media saying, like, I saw more pressure. I was like, what did you watch? Like I was literally like, I mean, not and it take your biasness alone away from it. Like, what did you watch? Like, there was again, there's more there were more. It was more I mean, you saw more pressure against mobile quarterbacks than the statue in Mac Jones. You know what I mean? Like, to be honest with you, this game lined up for Washington to have the most sacks they've had all season in one game. New England had a bad O-line and a quarterback who's not mobile, and they were like you said. They had probably, I mean, one sack was taken away. KJ Henry, that was a sack. They took that away.
Yeah.
But to your point, though, it wasn't like that dude, Mac Jones, had nothing but time in the pocket. So, yeah, I do think it was a drop off. But to my man Jay Jones' point, we just played better on the back end finally. I agree. I think that's what was better. Like the back end was was solid. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it wasn't that like the front four didn't bring any true pressure, but the back end was definitely solid. So I definitely agree with Jay. Like I definitely agree with Jay. So, but yeah, I thought it definitely was a slight drop off. But in terms of the young dude, rookie cornerback Emmanuel Forbes got his spot back. Rookie safety Quan Martin had the game-ending interception. What were your thoughts on the young players who got the opportunity Sunday as a whole? What were your thoughts on them?
I loved it. Like you said, going back to Emmanuel Forbes, you know, it's tough to have a situation that he went through. Mm-hmm. And I mean, you know, this whole, you know, and it's tough to, you know, you lose your confidence. And I think he had a situation where, you know, things didn't go right for him, but he kind of got himself back in the lineup. Definitely happy for him. And definitely for Quan, I think that was such a great moment for him, you know, especially battling injuries throughout this whole season. So for him to get that opportunity and get that game-winning interception, you know, great. And then, like I said, we talked about KJ Henry, even though he didn't rush the sack, which that's here nor there, but he got there. And then even you look at guys like Chris Rodriguez making a great play on special teams, and so it's encouraging. I think you know, especially when we really hasn't had it like as far as when it comes to a rookie that has stood out. But you know, in this performance, you know, a couple guys did stand out.
Man. Here's why I love doing the show, man. Wole, the points you made, Chris, the points you made, it is a great segue to what we're about to talk about now because you talk about culture and coaches. Yeah. Pete Carroll is the poster boy of that. That brother knows how to win. He's doing big things with Geno Smith, who many wrote off. As we talk about players who have been written off, kind of like Chase Young at one point when he was injured, was written off. Geno Smith was that way. Geno Smith ended up getting almost knocked out by one of his teammates. It didn't look good for him. But now all that's in the past. I'm not trying to clown him, but he's lucky. He is lucky that it happened sooner because it would have been a camera in there. TMZ would have had that thing.
Man, anyway, what?
Pete Carroll, for real, Pete Carroll is somebody who he knows how to win. He knows how to motivate players. He knows how to use all of his pieces, no matter how talented they may be. And the Washington Commanders traveled to Seattle to play the Seattle Seahawks, who I think are around 5 or 6 point favorites. I don't know the betting line, but Chris, what do you expect out of this Commanders team, and what does this team need to do to get a victory?
Yeah, and this is going to be a true test. This is another one where if this team, 1 week it looks like we were building, the next we got a good thing going at 4-5, and it's just to a point where this is a game that if you want to be a playoff team, this is the team that you want to be, and this could be something where this can bite you in the butt if you fail and you're still trying to make a run into the playoffs. So this is a game that I definitely think that we need to have. How it's going to work, it's going to be interesting. You look at it from that standpoint, I think the biggest key for us, I think if we can win the turnover battle, we can, because obviously Geno Smith, I think he's had like 6 interceptions the last 4 games. I think that's going to maybe a situation where we can bounce back. But even though last week, I know when they played Baltimore, he only had like 1 interception. But I definitely think if we could essentially get to a point where we can turn the football over, because I know we're not going to be able to, as far as from their pass, from their offense, as far as their wide receivers, they're going to have big days. It's like Smith and Joba. I think he's going to cook. And that's one thing where it's really like, I look at these matchups and I'm like, we're so susceptible to having like a big play wide receiver just beat us and all that. But I think if we do that as far as turnover battle defensively, we can take care of that. I think that can help. And then another thing, I think if on the offensive end, I think we need to run the football in this game, because you look at like Baltimore. I mean, Baltimore put on like a show from the running back perspective last week. So if we can run the football, and then also I call it the equal opportunity offense, where get that running game going, and then get other guys involved. As far as Logan, get him involved passing wise. Jahan, just get all the guys together, and like you said, we got like kind of a pick your points type of offense. So I think those are gonna be the keys when we will win against Seattle. I'll put it that way.
I said we will.
Hey,
I'll put it in the air. I'll put it in the air. I'll put it in the air. I'll put it in the
First
air.
off, you said playoffs. I don't know why you keep saying why folks be saying playoffs. Like, they gotta chill with the playoff talk.
Listen, though.
One game at a time, man. One game at a time.
You know one of my favorite coaches, Randy Whitman. What did he tell us, Wole, years ago? This is when we first got into media. He said, "Know the mindset of your opponent. You failed to do that against the Bears. The Bears blew the biggest lead of the season to the Denver Broncos the week before. Then Dick Buckets passed away, and they came out and mopped you because you couldn't match the energy. Know that a team that just got beat pretty bad in Baltimore, they're going to come out hungry this week. You got to match that energy, and I think that's on Coach Rivera to get his group ready."
Well, the good thing about it is that like they're like you mentioned, they're already underdogs, so don't gotta worry about trying to understand whatever. They 6.5 underdogs. They ain't like they favorite.
6.5. Okay.
They're 6.5 underdogs, and they're going to Seattle. I don't think they should ever think they're better than Seattle going into that game. If they think they're going that game thinking that Seattle's sweet, they'd already fucked. Oh, it's what the laugh. What the curse. Oh man, they've already freaking lost. You see, I stopped myself. Right, they already freaking lost. So they better not go into that game thinking like, oh, we playing Seattle. Gino and them got mollywopped by the Baltimore Ravens. That's Baltimore. They ain't watching it. So like, yeah, I don't think that's gonna be the case. But I will say, like, yeah, to your point, it's if you watch if you forget being a fan, if you watch the Patriots game, you saw folks is wide open on certain plays. And Mac Jones is, God bless his soul, but he's trash. So like, Geno Smith, if you got DK Metcalf, I mean Lockett's questionable, but he's probably gonna play. You got Smith. I can't really say his name like that, but Smith at Ohio State, the slot dude, he's talented. So they got dudes that can hurt you, and Geno got weapons. So, and if Washington doesn't put like this is the thing everybody knows, if Washington don't put pressure on Geno gonna find them dudes. You can't do what you do with Mac Jones and give him time like that. You're gonna have to bring pressure. Because Geno is uncomfortable with pressure. I mean, I like Geno. Like, I've watched Geno from West Virginia. Like Ray said, I've rooted for him with the Jets when he got his jaw broke. I rooted for him even when the Giants is Eli's backup. So I like Geno. Like, I like Geno, but I know what bothers Geno. You have to blitz Geno. You cannot go in that situation thinking that Casey Toohill, James Smith-Williams, you know what I'm saying? They're going to bring pressure on their own off the defensive end because of what Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne. Truth be told, I'm not going to put it on the ends. Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne got to dominate. Those two got to dominate. If they don't dominate the two Hills and the James Smith-Williams dude, they don't ball. So those two got to dominate. If they can dominate and put pressure up front on Geno, then they'll be fine. If they can't put pressure on Geno, you're going to see Geno cook. Like I say, let Russ cook. Geno going to cook. So you're gonna have to put pressure on Geno. That's not good enough. So you got them winning. Okay, that's what's up, man. I'm proud of you. Like, I'm proud of you.
We'll
proud
see.
of you. Being a home.
If they have the key, if they follow the plan, I don't know if they're gonna follow the plan or not. But if they follow the plan, they can win this game.
I'm gonna let you predict. I ain't predicting that squad. I can't do it.
I
can't do that for you. I can't do that. All right. So, all right. Hey, Chris, man, thanks for being on, man. Before we let you go, tell our listeners again how they can catch you on social media and how can they catch the pod.
CouchCoachLive.com, the website, and also social media. Couch Coach Live, pretty much anywhere. Facebook, X, YouTube as well. Couch Coach Live. Just check us out every Wednesday, 8:00 Eastern Time. But you also check out on the YouTube. Check these guys, check y'all out first, and then holler at us.
No, check you out, man. Don't do that. Yeah. Check you out, man. Don't do that. Check you out, man. Check you out. Yeah, I already subscribed to y'all, so you got a new subscriber right now. So it is what it is. All right, Chris, man. Appreciate you, man. Thanks again, man. All right, man.
Appreciate it all, y'all. All right, thanks.
All right, bro.
All right, man. Chris is a dope dude, man. You were right. It was all burgundy and gold everything. At first, I thought we had him. We never had him on here. It's okay. Then it was a good intro. Then. All right, man. So it's time to talk some Wizards. The Wizards were up big. Now they were up big to the Charlotte Hornets, and now the Hornets they were up by over 20, bro. They was up by 20 plus. Now that Charlotte cut the lead to 8. Like they were just up at halftime, and now third quarter what's up with the Wizards, bro? Like for real, like they're.
I want to continue this discussion about culture, and the Wizards are trying to make a culture shift, which is why they overhauled their front office, and they now bring in personnel that was available as a result of some bad moves by the previous. He wasn't a GM. What was Tommy? President of basketball? No, he wasn't even that.
But he basically like the GM though, right? That's basically.
Basically. So Tommy made some mistakes, but so you took what you could in order to sort of start the overhaul and rebuilding process. And Jordan Poole is catching a beating on social media just about the type of energy he brings to this culture. But I'm going to say this about him. Jordan Poole has worked extremely hard to get where he is. Yeah. Considering he was in the G League, he wasn't somebody who was a big name in college playing in Michigan, even though he was so talented and still is very talented. Yeah. I just feel like if you're going to make a complete culture shift, you may need to consider making a coaching change. I'm not trying to knock West, but I don't know if West's defensive style is working because they're not playing good defense at this point. They haven't since he's been here. So I think you got to continue to make changes. But some of the guys on the roster, you can keep around. I know we're going to talk about the rookie Bilal coming up. Kalabali, he's got all the talent potential. You have Daniel Gafford, who a lot of people consider him a poor man's Jared Allen, which Jared Allen is somebody who can do it all for you. But when Daniel Gafford plays against Jared Allen, you see that there's levels to that style of play, and Jared Allen's at the top of that. Even though Daniel Gafford, man, he gives you 110%, you love him. Kyle Kuzma, somebody who is a volume scorer, can shoot, streaky. I think you have pieces. It's just a matter of, can you get a coach in here to maximize what you have and then again create a winning culture? I think that's what's lacking right now. Is there's no expectations this season and the team is performing like that.
I like Wes, so I don't hate on Wes.
I do too.
I like Wes. I don't know if he's a problem. I do know that the sum of the parts aren't winning basketball, so I know that does tend to hinder it. You got a dude in Jordan Poole who doesn't like playing defense, and you allocate a lot of resources into him. I mean, by in terms of on the court, like you want this guy to average 20 points to be one of your leaders, and he just, to me, doesn't play winning basketball. He's averaging 18. I mean, he's averaging 18 points a game, roughly, like you can say 19. Shooting 43% from the field, shooting 33% from three. It's not that I don't care typically about the field goal percentage. I don't care that he shoots about low 40, but it's just the shot selection. I think the shot selection it makes his shooting percentage low because he takes so many bad shots. You know what I'm saying? Like, because truth be told, he's a good shooter. Like he's a good shooter. But if he took good shots and high quality shots, his percentage would be far better. Like the question on Jordan, the thing on Jordan Poole for me is like, I'm not sure, like, what would, if on a winning team, what would you put him at? What would he be? Would he be because I don't see him as a number one. Like, I don't see him as a number one, just the way he plays.
Let me ask you this. What do you view Trae Young as? Is he a number one to you?
Yeah, because they win with him.
I don't like
his shot selection, but I'm not the big. So the reason I'm saying this, I'm not the biggest Trae Young fan, but I acknowledge that he can lead a team. Like I acknowledge that he can lead a team and improve a team. I acknowledge it. And he passes the ball though. Like he actually does pass the ball too though.
I asked about him because you had Nate McMillan as a coach there, but Quinn Snyder was brought in to bring a fresh voice. Again, it's like a culture shift. Yeah. And you have a group that has the potential to win, and you had to make a change. And that's kind of what I'm seeing. And Trae Young, you mentioned some of the criticism that he receives around the league. Jordan Poole is very similar. His shot selection, effort is not there on defense, a little bit skinny, undersized. I think with the right guy in place, Jordan Poole can be a more effective player than what he's playing currently with Washington.
Possible.
I really do.
It's possible.
I think West is kind of running out of time, and I like West, but I just think maybe his demeanor, his message is growing a bit stale because, like I said, his onus is on defense, and the team just isn't playing it.
I would agree with that because that's a real valid point. I ain't gonna hold you, but he showed it in the postseason. Jordan Poole showed you what he was in the postseason with the Warriors, and it's carried over to here. Like the same way he's played with the Warriors with a good coach, he did the same thing in the postseason. That's when he was coming off the bench. If you watch that second, he's doing the same exact thing. He shot bad shots that's what pissed off the players in the postseason. He didn't play defense. and he didn't pass the ball like that.
Yeah, well, so the noise around him is that once he got paid, his entire attitude changed, which led to the Draymond punch because they were all like fed up with his behavior. Because at first he was just grinding because he wanted to,
of course,
he wanted to get paid, and they appreciated him when Steph was out. And during that championship run, Jordan Poole really stepped up. It's just he ended up getting paid, he gained some swagger, and then his entire attitude changed. So somebody has got to find that guy that was wanting to make his space in the league, wanted to elevate his play, and he did. And then, of course, he switched up the game on him. See, I think about Jimmy Butler when I think about this. Jimmy Butler is somebody who grinds so hard to come from nothing to something. And while his attitude has changed, his approach to the game has.
Yes,
so somebody's got to be able to find that motivation that Jordan Poole had when he was trying to make that name for himself.
I don't know he don't get it because the dude said my legacy is already supplanted after winning the championship. So I'm just playing for that. Lets you kind of know where his mindset is.
Okay, if that's the case, well, because you've been covering him.
Yeah, he said that.
Jordan Poole is not a guy that's going to help change the culture of this team.
Yeah, because he said I won a championship, my legacy is already there. I'm like, bro, you ain't got a legacy yet. You 24. I don't
like that mindset.
Yeah,
see that's like Kobe winning that first title.
Yeah, my
legacy's written.
It's written. Kobe, so it's not
the
written.
Guys who got it, Kobe, LeBron has it. Where they want to consistently win. They don't want to settle. They want to win every year. LeBron went to the finals how many years in a row? Because he wasn't ever satisfied. He wants to be considered the greatest ever. And you got to have that mentality, man. Yeah. And some guys had, like Rip Hamilton had it. I'm not saying he
did though. He wanted to be better.
Rip Hamilton had it. There are guys who what they bring to the table, what they bring to a team culture. So if that's the case, I'm trying to get a benefit of the doubt because I like Jordan Poole, to be honest.
No, I know. I mean, I like to your point, like be a G leaguer because I liked him in Michigan. I thought he was really good at Michigan, actually. I thought he was good at Michigan, so I liked Jordan Poole's game. And then when he was in G League, and you saw how he tried, and I liked how Golden State developed them too. They were given the opportunity, especially when Steph was out, so they would play their young dudes, and they was playing Jordan Poole. So it helped him out in the long run because it helped his growth process in the NBA. So I like the work. To your point, I just don't like what he is now. But maybe, like you said, bring in the right coach who can reach him. Because maybe Wes ain't the guy to reach him. But I don't know. To me, he's so out there. It's gonna be hard to reach somebody like that. But we'll see.
Well, if you bring in a guy, I mean, you're not gonna find. I don't know. You're
like
not
a Thibodeau. He would have to
be or like a
he would need a Thibodeau.
That's why Monty would have been good. Monty would have been good, man.
I don't know if Monty would be good for him. He different. Like kid different. I think he needs because Monty a player coach. He's a player's coach to a certain extent, but he's just a good coach. Monty's just a good freaking coach. You know what? Maybe Monty would be good for because Monty benched Ivy and all them. Now Ivy and Wiseman want to get traded. So
the guys who are top players around this league, they know who some of the best basketball minds.
Yeah,
Monty Williams at the top of that list, man.
No, definitely. No, I'm not saying that.
It comes from USA basketball in part, but also just again that Popovich tree is real, bro. It's real.
It is. Cause I'm thinking like he need a disciplinarian. That's why I'm thinking like he needs somebody who just don't. I feel like he needs that.
Monty dealt with. You saw how he dealt with
Aiden.
Yeah, Aiden.
Yeah, no. He could do it. Now you're right.
If he needs to, he will. But he's also a great motivator.
Yeah.
Great motivator.
True, real talk. He's done it with Ivy. Ivy don't Ivy don't even start, bro. So he's definitely Monty.
Yeah, Ivy's talented. Yeah.
Yeah. So Monty definitely do his own.
You gotta earn it. You gotta earn it, man.
Facts. All right. So Bilal Coulibaly is averaging 6 points per game. I mean, from what you watched so far, any games you watched from him, have you seen growth in his potential?
It's too early on to say I've seen growth. I just see the skill set, and I see how his size translates in the NBA. His length, you know what I mean, his ability to dribble. I think he has the opportunity to be successful. But the question is going to be this: we're talking about Jordan Poole, culture, all this stuff. Are you going to build around him? I think you can, actually.
Oh, I think you really can. Do. I think you can build around him.
I really do. So if he knows he's the guy, I think he's going to do it all, bro. So. I really do.
I think so. I agree with you. I think you can build around him. I'm seeing growth from him. I'm trying to pull up his stats too for tonight's game, but I'm seeing growth from him in terms of like he's shooting. He's like willing to shoot the three now.
And he's confident.
He's getting more confident. And he could play defense. I mean, and truth be told, I mentioned, you know, he got blasted, and all of them got blasted by Boston. But something, you know, there's something about when you play against some of the best talent in the world, like a Jason Tatum, a guy in your position, or a Jaylen Brown, guys that you will probably be seeing for the next some odd years. and you compete against those individuals, and it's going to make you a better basketball player. So I just think that for him, like he's going to become a better basketball player because of some of the experiences in the NBA and who he's getting to play against. Coulibaly only 3 points, but 3 points in 15 minutes. He made a 3-pointer, one from three. But I do think they can build from it. You know what I'm saying? So because he's a guy that right now he doesn't need the ball to be uber successful because he plays good defense. He can move without the ball. So you don't got to run a lot of ISO. You don't have to run ISO plays for him. So it's all dictate. It's going to be dictated on point guard play and whatnot. So there's not a lot of pressure on him. But I do think, like you said, Ray, you know, when he gets aggressive, you can see it. Because when I was covering the game, I asked Wes until, you know, in that game, that actually was the Boston game. It was the Boston game. I said, you saw him earlier in the game, like hesitate on jumpers. Like he hesitated. He didn't want to shoot the three. Like he had it open, but he just hesitated after his 3-ball got blocked. And then Wes said in the second half, you know, you saw his aggression, and then, you know, he was finishing around the basket. And you could see that from that point on throughout the multiple games since the Boston game. I felt like he's been, like you said, Ray, he's been more aggressive. So I do see it. I think he's a guy you can definitely build around, man.
I'm not gonna hold you. If you look at these French guys, Batum, Tony Parker, Wemby, all of them
they
are
last.
tough as nails. And
They last,
Gobert, you can hate Gobert if you
want. Yeah, you can hate all you want to. I agree.
Gobert's right there. Like these guys, they come to play. What's the boy, that light-skinned dude that played for? He's played for. He can shoot. Play for Orlando. He just played for the Knicks recently. I can't think of his name right now. Good gosh. Bradley Beal choked him out a couple years back.
He can't shoot. Is he French? I know you're talking about. Is he light? He's not really light skinned. He thought he's white. What are you talking about?
No, he's
what's
light
his
skinned.
name? Is it light skinned? I know you're talking about though. He shoot the three. He used to play for Orlando. He used to play for another team. He played for Knicks. Yeah, he played for Orlando.
He's been around.
Yeah,
man.
it's like he a white boy. You sure? He white?
I
know you're talking about.
He's not white.
Is you sure?
He's not white.
What's his
name?
I'm looking at Orlando roster.
I'm about to look him up now. Real quick.
Please look him up, man. I know you're talking about because he shoot threes too. Number 5, was he 15?
Bro, it's so obvious because he's actually he's halfway like Evan.
No,
Fournier.
he's a good guy. Huh? Fournier.
Fournier. So,
there you go.
Again, all these dudes I'm naming from France, like I said, Batum, Fournier, Gobert, Tony Parker, Wemby. These dudes can hoop, man. And Coulibaly, he's one of those. He's one of them, bro.
Yeah, he can hoop.
I wouldn't be shocked if French basketball, including his brother, they run the world scene for a while. They winning the Olympics and the World Cup because these dudes, I think, are that good for real.
Well, France, you think France can win the World Cup?
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely.
They can win the U.S. You mean the Olympics? They can win the Olympics, you mean?
Yeah, I think so. I'm talking about the future with these young dudes, the talent they got.
Oh, Wemby and Bilal? Yeah, possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wemby's a problem.
They got a mob over there, man.
No, Wemby's a problem. Wemby's a problem.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's his guy. I'm telling you, I think he's just as tough as what is described to Wemby and Tony Parker.
I think he's tougher than Wemby. I think he's tougher than Wemby. I mean, tougher. I ain't not better, but tougher than Wemby.
I got what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't think I think. All right, so I'm not gonna talk about like the Wizards playing game, but your thoughts about not the playing game, but the in-season tournament. Your thoughts about the NC tournament period. Forget the Wizards element. Just period, bro. We gonna talk about.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not feeling it.
Thank you, Ray. Am I the only one? I'm glad I'm not the only one. I'm glad. I ain't feeling it either, bro.
I know. I was watching Fox. I don't have a problem with saying that. I still watch Fox, and these guys were loving the design of the courts and things of that nature, and that's great.
Ain't that the big three? Don't they do that in the big three though? Isn't that how the big three courts look? Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
But they're trying to increase the incentive in terms of guys wanting to play each night. That's the whole purpose of it. So you don't have guys sitting out as much. And it's a good segue to our next segment because James Harden, people forget. We criticize James Harden for who he is now. And I get it. Yeah. I get the criticism. But that brother used to play all 82 games. All the time, man. Right. And his body's wearing down because he never took nights off. He was a guy that you could rely on in terms of you got a ticket. You knew you were going to see James Harden. Yep. So that's what the NBA is trying to get back to. They want their stars playing every night. They don't want guys sitting out. So they say, okay, you can win this in-season tournament, and you can be at full strength because you want to make sure you win this tournament. I think they could have did better in terms of just making the game fresher or maybe for real, it's decreasing the games that probably be the best thing for these guys. Not
I can't.
tournament.
I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to. But
82 games is a lot for these dudes on hardwood course to travel. They don't get as much sleep. I just think that's the best way to maximize. That's why the beginning of NBA season is always like amazing. You be like, dang, like these dudes play so hard, and then it tapers off somewhere.
That's fair.
You know, and around like mid to late November, around Christmas, it revs back up because now all eyes are mostly on you. And then playoff time is when everybody's like, okay, I'm happy to see the NBA again. So there's where you need to attack some of the lack of star power issues where players like Kawhi are like, you know what, I'm not playing. What's the point of playing tonight against the Pistons? I'm not doing it. But the in-season tournament, no, I want to play against the Pistons tonight because I want to win the in-season tournament. I don't even know how
important. I don't even know how that it's important. I'm trying to figure out why. I mean, money, I guess, but because it says in-season tournament because you still play at home. You playing at home. You still playing at home. Like I don't get it. It's a regular season game for real. They just put in. That's like, all right, real talk. Not to be stupid, but it's just like, I don't know about you growing up, but for me, like we do our little 3-on-3. You play 3-on-3 basketball like as a little kid or whatever, and then you just make a tournament. Like you make a rec tournament. Like not no real organization, but yeah, we just do. All right, we're gonna make a list on sheet of paper. You the see now in seeds. If you win, you go here. You win. Like literally, that's what it sounds like to me. It's like a summertime tournament. Like you just make it up a tournament, like a 3-on-3 tournament.
Okay, so if you're not going to decrease the number of games, then you got to do better at the CBA. It's going to be a lockout because the players got too much control.
I don't know.
That's why they can sit out games. That's why there are times where they don't play as hard, man. They are in control, bro. They get paid a lot of money. It's all guaranteed, and
that tournament crap is trash. I don't know. I don't get that, John.
It's not helping motivate.
It ain't motivating me, bro. It's not. I'm sorry, but you mentioned James Harden. We didn't get a chance to talk about it, but last week the LA Clippers traded star guard James Harden. They traded him. The Sixers traded star guard James Harden to the Clippers for multiple picks and players or whatever. So in his first game with the Clippers against the Knicks in Madison Square Garden, Harden scored 17 points, had 6 assists, but the Clippers still lost. All right, for you, Ray, does this? They got a big time roster. They got Harden, Kawhi, Paul George, and Russ. Russ. These are 4 Hall of Famers right there for real. NBA Hall of Famers or basketball Hall of Famers, whatever you want to call them. Does this move make the Clippers a true contender out of the West?
I think they're already contenders even without James Harden, but I'm not going to say he moves the needle simply because of, like I said, the mileage he has. I love his game. I love him as a passer. He's an underrated passer, man.
No, he's a great passer, man. He's a great passer.
James Harden gets his teammates the ball. And Russ always brings energy. I think them playing off of one another, or when Russ is not on the court, then you got Harden on the court and vice versa. I think that's the best thing for Coach Ty Lue. But it comes down to health. And again, with James Harden having so many miles, with Kawhi, his injury history, with Paul George's injury history, I just don't think they can hold up and be durable enough to go 7 games with a team like Denver. Because if you're going to upset the defending champions, it's going to go 7. And I don't know if these guys, kind of like Chris Paul struggles with once the postseason comes around, his health starts to deteriorate because it's just a lot of basketball, a lot of hard playing games on the road. Intensity is high and against these younger athletic dudes like a Jamal Murray. I just don't think they can compete with that because of Father Time, bro. That's the thing. So I like the move, and I think that maybe Western Conference Finals might be where they reach their peak because Denver's the best team in the West flat out. And to beat them, you're going to need to infuse young talent maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be hard because I feel like the spacing isn't going to be the same because James Harden needs the ball in his hand. And he hasn't shown like James Harden now as what he is now. I don't know if it's a championship squad. I will say it's wild. I do think James Harden, OKC, though, would make it a championship squad, though. The OKC James Harden.
Oh, Houston James Harden. Of course, he was that guy, man.
That one, but I even like that one, yeah. But I even think the one from OKC would, though, because the one from OKC didn't really have to have. He wasn't super ball dominant. The one OKC wasn't ball dominant. Like he could score from multiple areas. It wasn't like he was trying to get fouled. It was like he was just playing ball, like he was hooping. When he got to Houston, then it was it was like, all right, the art of getting to the line. was it like you said, right? An amazing playmaker, like passing and finding his teammates. That's not going to be a problem, because the issue for James Harden is James Harden's going to be great in the regular season. I don't think that anybody's going to take that away. He's going to be great in the regular season because he's going to be able to go to the line. He's going to be able to get other players involved. He's going to be able to score. He's going to do all that type of stuff. That's because James Harden's just that type of dude. But in the postseason, it's going to be more of an issue because, in the postseason, referees swallow the whistle. So those players you was getting foul calls, you're not going to get that in the postseason. So if you're trying to get fouled rather than trying to make buckets in the postseason, you're going to be hindered. That's why late great Kobe Bryant, when he used to assess James Harden's play, he was like, I love James play, but in the postseason, his game doesn't translate.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because they're not gonna, and he didn't say like there wasn't a knock on him, but it's because those referees aren't going to give you the same foul calls that you're accustomed of getting in the regular season, the postseason, because you're not going to get like when you're trying to shoot the three and you do whatever and you get touched on you may get touched on the three. They're not going to call that. You go to the line and try to draw a foul, they're not going to call it. You know what I'm saying? Like you're going to have to try to look like you're trying to make a basket. So that's the thing. Like, if he could take that out of his game and then play a role with, the hierarchy in terms of who's the star of the squad, which should be Kawhi. If they can all say Kawhi to do, then Paul, then if you want to say, because I think Russell had no ego. Like people try to hate on Russell. Russell got no ego. Then Harden, then Russ just facilitate, do his thing as being the guy just to lead the whole team, be the leader. I think they could be a championship squad, but I don't know if James has it in him anymore, man. Like the stuff that you hear from, like him at the presser saying, "I'm a system. I am a system." Like him saying stuff like that. Like I don't know if James has that in him anymore to worry about, trying to fit in a role or play winning basketball. I'm not sure anymore because I like James. I've always stood up for James Harden. Yeah, when people used to try to blame him for playoff losses, but it getting to a point where I'm just not sure anymore.
No, it's not about that, man. It's just when you're young, of course you got a lot of energy. You have a different type of outlook on the game, and he had that back then. Like you said, he fit into his role perfectly in OKC.
He did.
And now he's running into younger teams who have that now, like the Boston Celtics of the world and the Denver Nuggets. And like I said, it's going to take a whole lot, my guy,
yes,
in order to knock off the Denver Nuggets. I know we have a comment. Yeah, Dujane is a distraction, not a system. I think he tries to maintain some type of swag. Definitely, I think that's more so a confidence thing for him. But I would agree. Like I said, that's the criticism of him around the league is that he doesn't help your team. He's all about self. And anytime he gets unhappy, he gains weight. He wants to move on. He's just a pain. Like John Wall was excited to get a fresh start in the Rock in Houston, and he totally kind of ruined it for him.
He did. He ruined it for John Wall.
He went to Brooklyn, pushed his way out, goes to Philly, re-signs in the summer, but then tries to push his way out. Daryl Morey really vouched for that dude, man. I feel like he just, I don't know, bro. It's a tough call in terms of chemistry and how he brings maybe, like he's saying, distractions to the locker room. But I just feel like from a health standpoint, these guys got too much mileage. Their injury history is what it is, and I don't think they can compete with the younger teams out west, mainly Denver, who's they're totally the best squad in the league right now. Boston's right there, but in a different conference, of course.
The Clippers are the Clippers always. The stepchild to go. The stepchild. Go Lakers. You ain't lying, bro. You ain't lying, Dujane. I ain't here to I ain't here to chant the Lakers propaganda, though I am. Lake show. But to me, you're right though, bro. You're right. It's his track record that kind of gets me. It's his track record. But I'm gonna ask you this question, individually speaking. Forget the Clippers. Do you think that a team can win a championship with James Harden, and James Harden at a high level role, not just trying to get a check or being a role, like not just being a guy to try for ring chasing? Can he really win a championship being a high level player?
No. I'm just going to simply say that just for all the reasons I've already said, I just don't think it's possible. Again, I think he could be a facilitator, but based on him saying I'm a system, I don't think he wants to be this playmaker. I mean, he could average 10 assists a game easily.
Easily, man. Easily.
And I don't think he wants to be that guy, unfortunately. But I still love his game.
Me too.
It's just unfortunate. And then also the work ethic. at the strip club at 2:30 in the morning and
I
then
know.
showing up at the game late, things of that nature, or at the last minute. That's the thing. He didn't do that at one point, from what I understand.
He didn't.
Yeah,
He
I
didn't like
heard he
that.
wasn't that guy. Like I said, he used to play all 82 games. He would be a guy that you would be excited to see in the playoffs because you would want to see how far he could take a team. And that one year against Golden State, they
He
had a
looked good.
3-2.
It
looked
looked
like
good. You talking about had Chris Paul?
yeah, man, they
Yeah,
looked
Chris
good.
Paul got hurt. Yeah, they look
There
good.
you go.
They look
So
good.
he had some opportunities, man, but
Then he was
that
beefing with Chris
lifestyle,
Paul.
bro, that lifestyle.
And then he
That
was beefing with
lifestyle, brother.
yeah.
Look,
And
they
he-
talk about Lemon Pepper Lou. I wonder what we can call him, man. Shoot. Yeah.
It is what
The
it
worst
is.
thing they can do is serve wings at places like strip clubs, bro. That's terrible, man.
I don't get why they do that.
Wings and drinks, that's the worst thing they
Wings
can
and
do.
drinks and stripper juice. That don't mesh. That don't mesh, man. That's not a thing that kind of
And then you try to play a game that night, man. No
yeah,
sir.
that don't work. That's
No,
not that
sir.
should not be a thing. That should never be a thing. All right, man. It's time to close this show out. But yeah, to close it out though. Yeah, James Harden. I don't think you're championship worthy. But I do hope you. I would like you to get a ring though. I won't lie. I think because I like Ray. I've been a fan of his game.
He's
I
still a
have-
Hall of Famer without the ring, regardless.
Oh no, he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Them stats are self-explanatory.
Yeah.
He's a Hall of Famer. He's definitely a Hall of Famer. Hey, subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, and Google Podcasts. Just search the Urban Sports Scene. Also, follow us on X. I want to say Twitter. On X at Urban Sports Scene, IG at Urban Sports Scene, and like our Urban Sports Scene Facebook page. Make sure you subscribe to the Urban Sports Scene YouTube channel as well. Hit that red, if you're on YouTube, hit that red subscribe button and like this video. Also, check out the home of the Urban Sports Scene, Empire Media, at empiremedia.com. And this show can be found on the Podcast DC app. Download the Podcast DC app to hear all of the Empire shows, as well as other great content. All right, man, this has been a great show. I appreciate Chris for being on. Appreciate all the guests for tuning in and chatting. All the listeners for tuning in and chatting. Anyway, you've been listening to the Urban Sports Scene for ages. You dig? Deuces. Hey, Mega. Hey, first off, acknowledge Ray. Hey, Mega. Lead us out, big homie.